I trust and never doubt, if I walk and never faint, God's gonna show me a brighter day. If I tithe and just believe, many a blessing we'll receive. If I pray and run this race, God's gonna keep me by His grace. You can talk if you please, but I'll be talking on my knees. God's gonna sanctify my soul. By His blood I'll be made whole. Everything is gonna be alright. Oh, Lord. Everything is gonna be alright. You don't have to worry. Everything is gonna be alright. God said it would be. Everything is gonna be alright. Everything will be alright if I trust and never doubt. If I walk and never faint, God's gonna show me a brighter day. If I tithe and just believe, many a blessing we'll receive. If I pray and run this race, God's gonna keep me by His grace. You can talk, say if you please, but I'll be talking on my knees.
Dear friends of Jack, the loss of Jack this past February has been a sad event for all of us. He will be mourned by the known families, and men like me will remember the man from Stavros. I first encountered Jack in November of 1975 through friends we both knew. After many talks and a visit to a First Life celebration, I myself became a believer. I followed Jack as a believer, a friend, and a reporter for his family at the Stavrosian Guard. I kept his secret all these years. I became part of a small group of the luckiest humans alive. Because I knew Jack, I knew some of his hybrid family. They are some of the kindest, most compassionate race of beings you could ever hope to meet. As a believer friend, he often shared with me his plans to unite all his people, but I think he knew his time had come. He often wrote letters to newspapers and magazines, trying to find an outlet to reach more of his kind. No matter how hard he tried, his success was very limited. Once in a great while he would get something out to the public, but for the most part, his letters just seemed too unbelievable, so no one would publish them. In the end, Jack found peace, knowing there were families that would carry on his dream that the First Life celebration be kept alive for future Stavrosian families. Jack gave me 9 of his letters. I've saved them and put them all together. They are a short chronicle of the lives of some of them. As incredible as the last 35 years have been knowing Jack, I look to the next generation in hopes to see them become more mainstream. You don't have to believe me, but some will. Descendants, the inheritors of the gift of First Life. I'm Zachary Space, and I know the truth about Jack. Here, then, are the letters from Stavros. Have you ever kept a secret so long it feels like someone else's memory? Have you ever been told a story about you, yet you are disconnected? This is like my secret. My father, told to him by his father, told the secret to me. passed down the bloodline of linear passage. When I was entrusted with this secret, I was warned only to pass it to my children when it was time to make them guardians of the secret. I am also well aware there are others like me, others who know the secret. I want to meet them. I want to see the others who are like me. I need to know if their fear is like mine. Are they hiding from shadows like I am? I wonder if they too think maybe no one is looking for us. Perhaps we have faded into a forgotten place. There's only one way to find the others. I must let the secret be known. This is with great caution and long deliberation with my conscience that I make the decision to tell my secret. I am painfully aware of the repercussions, but I also know that the secret is so incredible that people may not believe me anyway. To tell this story, I must start back to the day of the arrival. On Earth in the year 1800, a research ship from the planet Stavros had arrived to study indigenous inhabitants. On this fateful day, luck was not on the side of the crew. It has been told that something went very wrong with the navigational system and control over the ship was lost. The vessel hit the ground hard, disabling the ship, making it impossible for them to leave. The Stavrosians found themselves stranded on a small island called Ikaria in the Aegean Sea. This island would play an important role in their survival. In the universe of celestial travel, it is common practice to avoid contact with the Earth. But in this emergency, the ship's captain Zarnus had to act quickly. The mission was now compromised, with no hope of escape. In those days of man's war with neighbors, no one was safe. Not much has changed in the past 179 years. Stavrosians climbed from the wreckage. They heard the people of the island approaching them. They realized there was no hiding a craft of such magnitude. Captain Zarnus had to think quickly. He needed to ensure the help of the locals without scaring them away. With the help of his first science officer, Krastus, they made contact with the men of the island. They soon found out that enemies persecuted the people of Ikaria and they trusted no one. Zarnus needed these men to believe they could be friends, to convince them that the Stavrosians were on their side. Once this was done, they had to get the Icarians to help them hide this frightful-looking craft. Things moved slowly at first, as the captain ordered the crew to hide the ship. Captain Zarnus needed the help of the island men. In order to enlist their help, he had to promise them something. Captain Zarnus offered his crew to the Icarians. His crew had the strength, the knowledge to successfully help fight off the oppressors that held the Icarians down. The Icarians gladly accepted the deal and went to work to help hide this space vessel. The ingenuity that went into hiding the ship was so complete, so well done, that only those that helped hide the ship could find it. Those men have long since passed. With them went the true location of the craft. There is no need to spend a fortune trying to find the burial place of the ship. The Icarians hid it so well that it is hiding in plain sight. Even if it were to be discovered, there is no way the local government would allow anyone to lay a claim. If some unsuspected soul were to discover it, their very freedom could be jeopardized. The Stavrosians waited for a rescue ship to come for them. Days turned into months, months into years. The hope of rescue began to look bleak. No one knows why the rescue never came. Perhaps on the planet of Stavros, no one knew what happened to the ship and her crew. Maybe a rescue ship had been sent, but couldn't find the location of the wrecked spacecraft and abandoned the search. No matter the reason, the crew was never picked up. Captain Zarnus and his crew never saw their homeworld again. The Stavrosians accepted their circumstances. They realized that Ikaria was now their new home. The Stavrosians started to live their lives as Icarians. mingling with men and women. It was found that stavrosian's DNA could be mixed with Earth DNA to create life. Stavrosians began to start families and work to support their new way of life. Even in this new way of things, there was always a pulse in the back of everyone's mind. Keep the secret of origin or risk loss of freedom. Now there were families to protect as well. 49 years after the arrival, some of the crew left the island to explore the world they live and would now die in. Traveling about, they settled into many parts of the world, but they were always careful not to be discovered. Captain Zarnas charged each man to keep the secret and only reveal it to their children. These families, the products of Stavrosian and the people of Earth, made lives for themselves. They went to work and schools, lived in neighborhoods, and raised families. The new breed became involved in politics, ran shops and restaurants, even worked in hospitals. These men found religion: Christians, Jewish, Muslims, Orthodox, and many more. Because of the mixing of DNA years before, these men had all different skin colors: black, brown, white, and yellow, and more. This breed of Stavrosian and man fought in every war across the planet. They fought for their new countries, their new lives. Soon it was no longer new to them, just a way of life. I write this letter to those who know the old stories, who see the faces in their dreams. I write this because I hope to find you. I want to find the others like me. I have something, a gift from the old world, a piece of the ship that is lost forever. Maybe you have it too. I have a crystal orb. This was once used as money. There has to be many more out there. I know there are others like me who also possess this unusual form of currency. The orbs are star charts. When placed in a star viewer, the maps of stars can be seen for navigation to pilot the course of these ships. So valued among the travelers, the orbs were used as a medium of exchange. Other gifts were removed from the ship before it was hidden. There are control knobs and tools from the research lab. One story says there were 4 lab metal vials that were also taken. Each crewman took what he could carry, tokens of a lost life from Stavros. Perhaps there are others who hold the gifts of Stavros. The Stavrosians started a tradition in their new land. They held their planet in memory, honoring it in a ceremony. The living testimonial to that was passed down through the generations. This celebration still remains with us. The tradition is called First Life. This is a celebration of the first life given by God, when life was first created in the vast universe. God is a universal deity, a concept held holy throughout the entire universe. Long before man found God, other beings from other worlds were already observing a religious affirmation. To celebrate first life, we all gather once a year. God created the earth and water before he created man. This is true for other planets as well. It is only natural that we gather at the water to celebrate first life. The custom of first life was done by the crew. The chaplain of the crew was Officer Kohilas, and he taught the ship's crew to teach their families, and so the tradition began. Each June, no matter where in the world we are, we come with boats to the water's edge. We spend the day fishing with one another. We share the day with our family, changing boats to make sure we see everyone. The time we spend fishing is more than just to spend the day together. It's a testament to the power of God and his creations. From our ancestors of Stavros, the children and grandchildren, we use this day as a way to hold on to our family tradition. If you know who you are, if you're one of us, or you just feel it in your heart, then join us on this day in June. Share in the First Life celebration at the water's edge with all of us. If you are afraid, don't be. The authority that was once a force to be scared of is no longer. It appears that no one is looking for our kind. The world doesn't believe that we exist. As I write this letter, I feel completely safe because I know the world is too afraid of persecution from their own kind to even try to be vocal about the Stavrosians and their ancestors. This world has forgotten the stories about the landing of the ship. They have turned their heads to notions of a different life. They have made movies over time about the evils of space creatures and the pure imagination of alien life forms. I feel as if I should describe some of the features that are indicative of the Stavrosian line. Everyone with ancestry in this and his or her bloodline have the same physical attributes: thick noses, a cleft chin, a slight webbing in the toes, and unfortunately most have a tendency towards arthritis. I am the accumulation of 120 years of cohabitation. You could say we are hybrids. I say we are Earthmen with relatives from out of town, way out of town. The physical similarities are not the only features that help to denote the Stavrosian ancestry. We also have a sense like telepathy. I can feel it when my sister wants me to call her, or when my mother is sad. As a whole, we can sense the emotions of an unborn baby. Or if we think of someone, they may call us, or we may run into them in the near future. I think that if I work at this skill, I could improve it. I wonder how many others have honed in their skill. I fear that the power may be lost in the gene pool, a sort of gene dilution. I suppose it is a price to pay to live among the men of Earth. I've often wondered if the rescue came, would we go? Would I go and take my family and their lives from here? I don't think so. This is our world. It is the only world we know. I think that we would just be an experiment to the Stavrosians. They would want to see what was inside our hybrid bodies. Anyway, this is the planet of our mothers. We belong here now. My task, our task, is to unite us, to bring the others, the ones like me, together at last. To do this, we must use the First Life celebration as a time to find each other. There are certain lakes that we gather at. Here is a list. Clendenning Lake out of Freeport, Ohio. Wangamball Lake in Connecticut. Lake Arthur in Pennsylvania. Lake Norman in North Carolina. And Dale Hollow Lake in Tennessee, just to mention a few. Come and join us in our First Life celebration, or start your own at a quiet fishing spot near you. The Stavrosians have been using all of June as the month to celebrate the First Life. This way, everyone can pick a day that is best for them and their families. Families join together and spend the day fishing and enjoying the companionship. This marvelous day is finished off with a feast. Please come join us in this wonderful day of fellowship. Bring your boats, fishing poles, food to share, and your families. We can sit and talk about the old days and how things are now. Do not be afraid of our secret to come to our celebration of First Life. It is time that we take our place in this world as free and accepted members of this planet. It is by man's law that we are citizens of our birth nation and shall live here unscattered, a part of human society. This crew could not have known that over 200 years later, their offspring would have done so well among the men of Earth. Each generation taken on more human DNA. It is safe to say that in a few short generations, there will be no difference between the descendants of Stavros and the common man. I believe that the crew, Captain Zarnas, Officer Koilas, and his first science officer Krasta, would be so proud to see how their bloodline became prosperous and overcame the differences that separate them from men of Earth. I am called by choice Jack Stavros. I will be looking for you, my lost family. If it is God's will, we will reunite in June. Follow your heart. If it tells you to come, then you may very well be a true child of the long-lost crew. I think that for some of the others may not know who they are. I fear that if you found out where you came from, it will terrify you. That is not my intent. I have been trying so very hard to protect us all from prying eyes. Maybe now I need to protect you from me. It is my wish that we all will be together one day, learning from each other and piecing together our past and the lives of our forefathers. However, if you still hold to the old ways of obscurity, please know that I and the others will respect your feelings. Just know we will celebrate in our hearts together or apart. God gives us this day to be who we are, Stavrosians on earth. Your humble brother, Jack Stavros. Earth date, 8/15/1999. Together or apart. God gives us this day to be who we are, Stavrosians on earth. Your humble brother, Jack Stavros. Earth date, 8/15/1999.